Hallo, hallo, wie geht's, wie geht's? Hallo, wie geht's? Probando, probando, probieren, probieren. Eins, zwei, eins, zwei. Ach so. Ok. No entiendo esto. What the fuck? What the fuck was I doing? No. Oh yeah, Twitter. X, Twitter. Tick, tick. Hello. How's it going? I'm not sure if I have a view or not. Maybe it's myself. For the moment, I'm going to finish this tweet. Okay, back to the video. Well, actually beginning. Wait, I can't go on Twitter because then I find interesting fucking funny posts that. Yeah. What? Hey, how's it going? I was distracted by Twitter again. Okay, back on track. Also, maybe this. I'm going to do this. How's it going, by the way? I'm a little bit congested, but aside from that, I'm alright. Back to the routine of going to German class. That's why I was on Twitter, because I wanted to. The first topic that I wanted to write here was one. All of these are for my notes. They are not like topics per se, but they are things that I had noted down. So I wanted to at least touch upon them. Like a couple of these should be videos, right? It's like my idea was that they would be videos, but I'm lazy, so I don't think I will develop them onto videos. But just in case I do, to at least have like some, to test those ideas out to see which one I like more. But the first one was about German, right? Then the tweet. This one. Okay. Same, I guess. Same old. Are you same to the congested thing? Are you also congested? Wait, why am I recording? And like this week has been kind of weird because no one in class, well, not like no one, but like we are 10 in class. So, and 4 people are sick. So class is like, and like 2 people always come like 30-40 minutes late, right? So class starts with it being just like 3 people or something like this, right? So it feels pretty empty. And it's been like a strange week in that sense, right? Even though we are back to the routine, you could say it's been a strange week in that sense. There's like the energy is different. I don't know. I got a 1.7 in computer graphics. Nice. That's nice, right? In Germany, that's like 1.7 is like up there, right? Can you hack something for OBS, something like this, right? Can you make OBS, like make up an OBS plugin so that I can do something like fucking fire as fuck or or something like that? If I say, yo, can you make my computer go faster or something? Can you do that? Yeah, it's pretty good. Nice. I guess I have to get accustomed to this German qualification system, right? Because I will be getting marks in German, I assume, when I go to there, right? When I was in Erasmus, I also think I got those marks, and I remember I got like a 4. A 4 is still a passing grade, right? I think I got like a 4 or something like this, and it was like the bare minimum that I needed to not have to like retake the subject and that was like a pretty difficult subject in Spain and also in Germany. So yeah, I was like, whew, thank God I passed or something like this. Not really. I have no idea about OBS. For the moment, maybe one day. I don't know. I guess if in your work you do like web development stuff, maybe computer graphics as they relate to web development or something like this. Yeah, I always aim for 4, so at least passing. Yeah. I had a 4, and I was like, whew, phew. That was like I wished I could have gotten a better grade, to be honest, because it was like an important subject, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like less of a proper engineer for like passing these subjects like so quick, like so bare minimum, right? But and to be honest, it was like a cool subject, vibrations. In Germany, it was called vibrations. Well, like in English, because I had class in English. Obviously, I didn't know German, and well, or if I knew very little, and like not enough to talk about vibrations. Still, I don't know enough. I probably still don't know enough to take that class in German. But it was a cool class. Like the teacher was like he had like it was about vibration, right? So he had like a proper damper and like a vibrating thing, right? He brought like things into class to like show, and the class was pretty like, I don't know, it was cool. And like last week I was in front of the building where I had those classes, right? So it was like an interesting throwback. I didn't go inside though. If I move, well, when I move, if I'm still saying if, because I did the medical test and I don't know when. I haven't gotten the results yet, right? So I'm like expecting still. But yeah. So yeah, my short week recap classes. I haven't eaten anywhere. I'm sick, kind of, so I haven't run either, right? So I've basically just gone to. I lasered my beard again. But yeah, besides that, I haven't done anything outside of going to class since the last quick stream. But yeah, I am thinking about German class, tying it back here, because even though I'm technically like approaching the B2 level and I have passed the B1 level, right? I still don't have it in me to like just browse German language stuff. For example, I credit my decent abilities in English to mostly, I guess, immersion or something like this, right? To not sure exactly when or how I started browsing like English things in English. Probably when I was like 15, 16, something like that. And I was going to how do you say, like kind of an advanced side course with like mathematics, right? Like math class, I guess. It wasn't like proper class. It was more like, yeah, a group about, yeah, about mathematical thinking, you could say, some shit like that. And it was interesting. And one of the guys, like one of the classmates in that class, showed me this kind of 9gag pages, right? Or like Reddit, not Reddit, I think, but like 9gag. And from then on, I think I started browsing more the internet in English. I think I had always been browsing the internet and such, but more like Spanish forums about like RC cars, or like watching YouTube videos, but in Spanish, and like short YouTube videos, right? I wasn't like, or like making my own. Maybe I'm not sure how many videos in English I watched, for example, etc. But from then on, I started browsing more like memes in English, things like that. By the way, you should definitely try to be on time when you are in Germany. I am always rather 30 minutes early and just chill somewhere nearby than to be 5 minutes late. You don't have to be that extreme, but barely on time is already late in German mind, lol. At least as far as I know. Naturally, friends are a bit more forgiving, but still. Yeah, I am like that already. And the problem is that I live in Spain. And here, the people aren't like that, right? And it's not like the people are not like that, right? It's like 75% of people are on time. But there's always 25% of people who aren't, right? This is like the main problem. It's like, that's why I think Spanish people get like angry when people call them like untimely or something like this, because it's like 75% of people are like on time. And some of them, I think like maybe 15%, like me, are like as well. I also am the type of person who are, I literally arrive to class 45 minutes earlier half of the day. And I was like, fuck, I'm wasting my time. I'm going to arrive. And I still arrive 30 minutes earlier. But I'm the first guy there. Or sometimes I'm the second guy, right? It's like we are always just two people there. And the teacher arrives like, the teacher is German and he arrives fucking 10 minutes late every day, or like 30 minutes late, 40 minutes late. The teacher is crazy, bro. He arrives so fucking late. And he says he has become Spanish or some shit like that, bro. It's like, bro, the joke is not funny anymore. You can start arriving on time, please. But yeah, the problem is that it's like, if class starts at 3, but it's like 7 people are there and 3 aren't, it's like it can't really start fully, right? Because everyone's not there, so it starts more slowly. I don't know. For example, if I was a teacher, I would probably, I don't know. It's like, it's hard because what's the limit, right? If there are 3 out of 10, do you start slowly? But if there are 5 out of 10, do you start quickly? Or I don't know. I'm not sure what I would do if I was a teacher, for example. Right? Well, I would arrive early. That's a given. But yeah, I don't know. I got derailed. I planned for missing all my trains and plan as if I had missed them and wait 10 minutes for the next one. But thanks to that, when I actually catch a train, Google Maps plan, I arrive like an hour early. Yeah, I do the same thing, right? It's like I do that. The problem is that I do that every day, right? I do that for everything. Like when there is an hour, I do that. And I think people here only do that for the airport, right? When it's time to fly, everyone suddenly it's like I'm late. When it's time to fly, I'm late versus the other people, because I just do the regular calculation versus like the, I don't know, a couple or 1 hour and a half or something like this before the flight goes away. But people are like fucking insane, right? People are like calculating for like every delay possible. I kind of do that for everything, so I'm always 35 minutes or like 40 minutes. Plus, I live far away, right? So if I live far away, I have to calculate for the same thing as you say, right? For missing every train, right? So if I have 3 jumps, I have in my mind what happens if I get like the worst case scenario for each of them. So yeah, I'm always late. Sorry, I'm always like that amount early. Except for the airport, right? No, I do that. I do the same thing for the airport, but usually when I go to the airport, like the last couple of times, I have been taken there, right? So there are suddenly like there are no jumps anymore. So now I can be tighter, right? I can be like, okay, what if there is like a 10-minute delay in the like there are like 15 minutes of traffic, right? So I add that in. I add 15 minutes of traffic and like 5 minutes of getting lost or something like this, but because the time is like, because by going by car is so much quicker, it's like it ends up still being like having like quite a lot of, I guess, playroom, right? Versus the people who do that going on public transportation, right? They end up arriving super early. And I arrive to the airport, I don't know, still like 2 hours before, but like maybe 1 hour and 45 minutes before, instead of like 2 hours and 30 minutes before, something like this, right? So at the airport, I'm always like, I tend to be kind of the last person to arrive. Also because since I live kind of far away, I don't want to wake up so early, things like this, right? And some other people, to be earlier, they have to wake up less early, things like this. Okay, where was I? German language. yeah, all of these delay things because the people at my German class are so late, right? And I think this adds to the vibe, right? The vibe in German course is also kind of like defeated. Everyone seems defeated, right? I feel defeated because I am there so early, so I feel like everyone is wasting my time, right? And even the teacher. So it's like I don't have it in me to, I don't know, it's like I don't feel immersed. And also then in German class itself, the teacher himself talks so much in Spanish and we are already at like B2 classes, right? So I don't know, I feel like he should be talking more in German. So it's like when I hear like I'm going to hear a podcast in Spanish, and I'm like, what the fuck? Shouldn't I be hearing more things in German? But then when I arrive and like the teacher himself, he says something like, yeah, but B2 is like it stops being a level where you have to, yeah, in B2, from B2 on you have to like do a lot of input yourself, right? You have to by yourself read a lot more in German and like watch a lot more German movies, etc. Blah blah blah, right? And it's like, sure, but also I don't know. We should start maybe here. I don't know. And because of that, I think it's like a combination of things, right? Also, like the thing I was talking about the memes, etc. Right? In English, for example, I started browsing websites, and I guess it's like they were the websites to be. But for example, I don't want to browse German Twitter because I have followed a couple of German accounts and it's cool, I don't mind, but they start kind of talking about politics too quickly, right? I don't know. For my taste, maybe. In English as well, right? It's like, but English is different because since English is like the whole world, yeah, everyone talks about Trump and like the fucking trending things here are always about Trump and all that shit. But I don't know, it's like I can't ignore that. And in Germany, since it's elections time also, right, everyone is kind of talking about it as well. I don't know, it's like it doesn't feel the right time to be browsing casual things like that. And I think I am kind of, even though I like YouTube videos, etc., I am, I guess, at my core, a text person, right? I like text. And I'm also lazy, so I don't like long text that much. So I think I'm not sure what to browse. At some point it's more understanding and less just learning words. So he does have a point. I learned most of my English online, but like you said, it's different in English. I barely read anything in German. Yeah, so I guess I can't ask for the recommendations, right? If I find a manga I want to read and it's in German, I look for an English version. Yeah, I think I do the same in Spanish as well. Also because in Spanish, like the Spanish version is probably also like down by Latin American people, right? So it's kind of like, it sounds a little bit strange to me. Not just sounds, like it reads strange. Yeah, here for example I ask for, same with articles, is it still a language? Also, it's not just a context thing, it's also like a language level thing. For example, before I had this article open, right? And it's like, reading this, it's not like I look at it and I instantly get the information, right? Like it happens in English. It's more like I have to sit down and be like, okay, what the fuck is this about? Den Transportverkehr auf der letzten Meilen emissionsarm, kosteneffizient, blah, 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 Vergeltungen. And it's like, I get what it's talking about. Also, I clicked on this article because I cared about this, but I don't know, it's like, this is already starting to confuse me a little bit. I don't know. I would have to like stop and analyze to try to like comprehend the sentence versus, I don't know, getting to the information that I want to know, which is, what the fuck was this acquisition about, right? It's like I know the words, right? I know what this is. I know what Schwerlatzreden is. I know the things. I know, I guess, Bereiche. I know what the English words like last mile, Umfeld are. But the little things in the middle that tie the things together, I don't know. And I have an app for that, right? I have imported them into this app called LinkQ, right? And here, yeah, I have articles, etc., or text from our book, and then I can go like sentence by sentence and adding the words to my vocabulary list, etc., right? But yeah, it's like it doesn't come natural to me, right? I have to do it on purpose, and meh. And yeah, when I tweeted this, Pre-Rat, I have interviewed him, by the way, on my podcast. On my podcast. Uh, sounds funny to say. He recommended, I guess, this thing, right? Or, well, he didn't recommend, but yeah, he mentioned this, right? When I was learning German in school, which, by the way, I didn't know, they had us make videos in German, and we got really into it. Some might still be on YouTube, but I think I took them down because they were full of copyrighted music. And I asked him what kind of videos were they, but he hasn't answered yet, or maybe he hasn't seen the question because I don't know. I started yapping, but yeah. But yeah, I wanted to start the topics for today with this because I was like, okay, what kind of videos could I make in German, right? Because, for example, here I mentioned that I've started streaming in German a couple of times, and one of my viewers is actually German, but I ran out of steam quickly. And I was like, I wanted to kind of bring it back, but also I don't want to just call you up and be like, hey, want to practice German, like the B2 German thing. I could just do the B2 German test, but like at this point, I don't care about the German test, right? It's like, I don't want to practice for the test, right? I don't know. It's like, I know I'm going to pass the test. Because if my classmates pass and I have better level than my classmates, it's like, I'm going to pass, right? But now I'm worried about being in fucking Germany, right? It's like going to class in German. That's what I'm worried about, right? I'm not worried about the fucking test, right? So it's like I don't want to just use you as like a German, as like a B2 test, right? Help. And I want to like, I don't know, use German for things, right? That's the point. I think it's sentence by sentence sounds like a lot of work. No, it adds the whole thing to it copies all the text and then you review it sentence by sentence, right? It's like you don't have to copy and paste each sentence. It does it by itself. You just have to review it, and it shows you it can show also everything all together. Right? I can just do show link. Wait. This is the article, for example. Yeah, you can see this thing, or you can see it sentence by sentence. This is the title. Zu übernehme das des Berliner Startup Sidecar from Mubea E-Mobility. And then I add this word, and these words, I don't care. Attendon. Übernimmt. Text. And it shows you everything. And you can click here, right? And it shows you the translation of the whole sentence, which is pretty interesting, right? And it's like, okay, I can see each word, blah, blah, blah. And then all of these words that are in yellow are like words that I had saved previously. I mean, we can definitely practice together again if you want to. Just tell me in advance. Lol. I can also talk German with you the way I usually talk, and not in the practice mode where I talk in the way that's easier to understand. Yeah. That's the thing, right? One of the things I realized in German is that people talking practice mode is understandable, but people talking real mode, not really. That's not understandable, right? Especially, I don't know, maybe not sure if especially, but I guess in in Bavaria, right, in Bayern, probably even less, right? Maybe more. I don't know. It depends, but still, right? Something to get used to. It's like I can communicate with the people who want to communicate with you, but with the people who don't, I probably can't. And yeah, the point is that I was like, what can I make videos about, right? I think it could be a good way of, I don't know. It's like, since I already want to make videos, right? I'm on YouTube, etc. And all this, I could just maybe use this as a chance to script videos, right? To join a couple of things together, right? It's like stop making videos that are so off the cuff and try to make them a little bit narrowed down, so that way it's like step by step, right? It's like it's not talking because it's like reading off a script. It's writing because it's writing the script, and it's also saying it out loud and like intonation breaks, etc. Right? So I don't know. I feel like it's a good step by step, but yeah, the problem is that these topics, for example, that's when I get into the actual topics. These topics, I'm not sure if I could write scripts about them in German, right? I also don't want to be lame and like have ChatGPT make the scripts. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it would be a good exercise, but for some of these topics, I don't know. It feels difficult, and it also first it doesn't come natural, right? And to me, naturality, yeah, naturalness or whatever, is important, right? To me, it's important that the ideas come kind of natural, right? And also the way that they come, right? So, for example, if the idea of la realidad sobre the sword, if this post came to me in Spanish, it's important to me to make the video in Spanish in a way, right? Why? Because this is kind of the mindset behind this idea was making the video in Spanish for like a Spanish audience, right? That's kind of the mindset behind it. This one at the bottom, this one, for example, I guess in this one, the anecdote is less relevant. It's just in Spanish because it came to me when I was thinking in Spanish, because I was in German class, and in German class I think in Spanish because I'm surrounded by Spanish people, right? Here, for example, this came to me in English because I was in the subway and or in the bus, I don't know. And there, I thought in English. I thought of this thing, the thought in English. If they have a very strong accent, I also have problems understanding. I also realized that I often just stop a sentence halfway, since I figured everyone listening already had understood what I was saying. That's interesting. I think German has that by default, right? Well, maybe not in the way you mean, but for example, when people say "Ich kann Deutsch," it's like people just know what goes there, right? Or like ich werd ins Kino, right? It's like ich werd ins Kino gehen or something like this, right? Or ich kann Deutsch sprechen, but people is like just they don't say it. Yeah, get what you mean. I understand English very well, but speaking it myself, I just sound a bit off, since many of the words just don't come to me, so I struggle. Yeah, for writing, that's like the particular thing I'm worried about. It's like I don't want to sound like ChatGPT. I don't want to sound like I'm reading out a script from ChatGPT, and I don't think I have like the level of writing to write about these things yeah, about these topics that are important to me, I guess. It's like if they are important enough for me to have written the idea down, I guess it's important for me to be able to express the nuance, right? And I'm not sure I can express the nuance even with a script and even with ChatGPT's help, etc. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I will just ask you or whatever, right? I will just say, hey, I've written this down or whatever. Whoa. 45 minutes gone already. Damn. So quickly. And I haven't even finished the first, well, and I'm kind of on the first topic still. I guess the rest are going to be for tomorrow. So, now, after the rant, just what kind of things could I write a video in German about, right? And these are the things that I have been thinking about this week, or that I have thought enough, like that I have thought relevant enough to write them down. So yeah, could I make a video about these things? Let's see. First of all, before that we need to know what the fuck am I talking about. So first, la realidad sobre the sort. The sort, this means in English, the reality about the sort. What is the sort? The sort, well, this post is called How I Learned to Stop Worrying. I love the sort. This is a tweet by Patrick Mackenzie. Well, stop. Well, first, let me stop. I'm going to read chat. I say stuff like bis du dir sicher das, and I just stop there. And the rest is basically context clues. Are you sure that... Interesting. Let me... a video about your favorite German memes, lol. It would maybe not be a good video, but for practice I think it would be fine. German memes. I guess I don't know many, but yeah, fuck it, let's write down the idea. German video ideas. Let's keep it simple. And copy paste. I'm going to remove the part about how it would not be a good video. And yeah. I've thought of making also like lame videos, right? Well, first also repeating a video that I've made already in English but in German. That was one idea I had. Then also another video, but the problem with the repeating thing was, for example, I wrote this comment yesterday on YouTube.
Before we get into the...
Hey friends, so my wife just took...
Wait, what the fuck? Did I not send it yesterday? Yesterday I wrote a comment on this video. Did I end up not sending it or something like this? Did he delete it? Bro. This is so sad. I wanted to reference it right now. I think the translation part is fine on that note. Maybe translate something like a song that has a deep meaning in Spanish so others could also understand what makes it good. Well, technically it would be better to translate it into English at that point, but for practice I'm just throwing in ideas. Yeah. Those are interesting. I'll write them down. Let's see. I was like, just write like about my favorite things or something like this, right? About favorite things, etc. The thing that I wrote down in this video was, let me see, why did I bring this video? It was something like, I don't know, I forgot. He mentions in some point of the video something like, yeah, this part of like fear of being perceived as a hack. It was a fear of something else also. And then I don't know, let's see.
But I've been starting to think more in terms of chess, like, oh, some things you gotta fork the thing, some things you gotta have like a review. I have no reason to be ashamed of the fact that everything comes back to writing for me. And it really,
yes.
I internalized at some point this idea that being repetitive is bad. And I think that's one of the things that costs me a lot in life. Like, I worry about repeating myself.
Something like this, right? I was like, in this comment here, in the comment I wrote here, it was something like, yeah, I don't like repeating myself as well, right? So that's, I'm not sure if I want to make a video in German repeating myself. Something I've said on an English video before, right? It's like, I don't think for practice it's bad necessarily. If someone else did it, I don't know. It's like, I wouldn't think it's bad. But if I do it, it's like, I can't bring myself to have the energy to do it, right? That was kind of my point. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to write the idea down. Repeating a video of mine, but in German. But I'm going to write in the comments meh. Sorry, in parentheses meh, just in case. But yeah, back to the ideas that I had for this week in general. So, the sword. The video that I wanted to make was called "The Reality About the Sword" or something like this, right? Something on that note. And I thought of this title, I guess, because the idea for the moment it's just the title, and it was like how I learned to stop worrying and love the sword. This post is by someone on Twitter, and he starts with this tweet by Patrick Mackenzie called "We got so much better at running the sword. The bad news, we got so much better at running the sword." And the sword is kind of this idea that society is doing an increasingly good job at finding intelligent people and rewarding them. The graph quoted looks at pay, but there are also high prestige, low pay fields that are getting. Wait, what the fuck? Yeah, basically it's this. The idea is that society is doing an increasingly good job at finding like intelligent people and rewarding them, either by paying or by status or something like this, right? It's like, and that it's getting rarer that you can find, for example, like a hidden gem or something like this, right? Or like someone very smart working at something that's like not relevant or something like that. It's like society at large, it's like extracting the people who are like very smart and putting them in like places that give a lot of money, and or like it's not necessarily a society thing. It's like they themselves also seek those things. It's like the way society is oriented, people are like gravitating towards those things, right? And my idea was to make a video about it, but in Spanish, right? To throw this concept out in kind of the Spanish YouTube sphere. Maybe this could be something relevant in Germany as well, but I'm not sure, right? And if I were to talk about it in German, for example, I don't feel like I could keep up the pace, right? Keep up the pace in the comments in German, for example. I mean, not that I would get comments, but you get what I mean, right? In the supposed scenario where I get comments, I couldn't keep up. And yeah, basically the whole post is like you can sum it up in what you can see. You can sum it up, right? The good news, we got so much better at running the sword. The bad news, we got so much better at running the sword, right? It's like a process that's happening and that has both good and bad things, right? On the one hand, it's like if you are smart and driven, blah 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 blah, you can get paid for it. And on the other hand, it's like maybe it's bad that we are like segregating smart people away from like, it's like we are putting smart people in like these elite corners of the world of like finance and tech sectors and leaving positions that are not specifically tech or like finance just by people who like for regular people or like people who are not specially qualified for them or whatever, right? People who are not ambitious and who or etc., right? For example, government or things like this, right? And I wanted to share I wanted to share the information in Spanish, like, it's like, look at what these people are saying, right? What do you think? It's like, I guess I'm always like thinking of like people who are in high school in Spain right now, right? It's like, what are those people hearing? Would they benefit from hearing from this, right? And I think it would be beneficial, right? To hear about this process that's going on, right? It's like, this is what's happening in the US, more or less, right? You are not in the US, but it's interesting to hear, right? It's like, this is what's happening over there. Will it happen here? It's like, you can start to sense, right? It's like, if that's happening over there, here you can do several things, right? It's like you can accelerate the process of bringing that back to here. You can stop that from coming to here. But it's like you get the point, right? And yeah. The post itself is like how I learned to stop worrying and love the sort, right? So the point of the post is that in his case, right, he talks about how he, by himself, he's like going into law. He works in cybersecurity, etc. But he's trying to get into law now, and he basically using his knowledge and all this, basically using information he found out on the internet, he can know how much he can get paid, blah blah blah, right? All of these things, right? It's like the information is out there, right? So also my point was like to show, to it's like to get that information environment, to bring that into Spain, right? For example, where people know how much they can get paid in Spain as well, right? Not just the common numbers, but also the uncommon numbers, right? I think that's happening here in Spain as well, right? For example, but usually in like clickbaity ways, right? For example, someone I make 300,000 euros per month, right? And it's like, okay, that's outlier levels, and it's interesting in the sense that it's outlying, but also not really, right? A video of you playing a game in German, better if it has a story focused, but I wouldn't really know what game would be fitting for that. Something short, so you don't sit on it for hours on end. But still, a good story and not an English only indie game. That's interesting, but I guess I was focusing more on it makes sense. Yeah. That sounds more reactive, right? I was thinking something more like less reactive and more creative, I guess, right? More something created by me than me reacting to something. But I guess it could be a first step also, right? It's like a different alternative road of like the step-by-step way. Yeah, I like it. Maybe I will do that then. I wanted to play before I go to Germany Ratchet and Clank or like some PS3 game that's like a classic, you could say. Maybe I could try to find one of those in German. Like I said, I only throw in ideas. It's not what you had in mind. You can ignore it. Lol. Yeah, I write it down just in case. It's like, of all the things that I write down, even my own ideas, I never actually make everything, right? So I had a group project where I threw in some ideas that we ended up going with me being the only one that actually didn't like the idea. Lol. Okay, next video idea that I had this week. All of these don't require tweets or posts. All of these are like things that I came up on my own head. I guess I could align this one with the one before, right? I think the idea about the short thing was something related to, I guess, communicating a message to younger people, or something like this, right? It's like this vibe of like, what would I tell me if I was in high school, right? So yeah, I think the short thing is something like this, right? It's like kind of trying to make. If I were to talk to high school me, I'm not sure if I would tell him do anything, right? Maybe buy Bitcoin or something like that, right? Or like kill Hitler, kill baby Hitler. No, but like not those things. Right? More like, yeah, I would just show information, right? It's like tell information, say information, maybe. So, like for example, this thing, right? If I would to tell information, it's like I would say this is how the world actually works, right? Because back then it's like I didn't care, right? It's like, or I didn't consider it could be important to know how things work before. I don't know. It's like I don't even know how I was thinking. Maybe just like the fact that hey, you can know before the fact some things. Kind of try to get that message across my young self. Something like this. It's like, hey, you can think about these things beforehand. For example, it's like before you go into college, you can think of what college to go to, what reasons people use to go into college, those things, right? I would say what that thing, for example. That's the short thing is also related to this, right? It's like people are thinking like that. People already think like that. I think I didn't. And people who think like that, they sort themselves into like these places where you have to do some research beforehand, and then you are accepted. Things like this, right? High table. Yeah, same. Buy Bitcoin, play more guitar. Lol. Interesting. So, for example, one of the other things that I considered saying, right? It's like another topic that I would put in this kind of category of like things to say that I would say someone who is like not necessarily someone. When I think of someone, I think of like what would I tell myself, right? But also someone else, maybe now, right? It's like, for example, consider this, right? It's like I saw like one private school girl because they wear like an uniform wearing like a pink backpack, right? And I thought it was interesting, right? But it was like a pink Eastpak backpack. So like, you know the brand Eastpak, right? This famous brand, you could say. I don't know. This brand, right? So it's like interesting, right? That when you are in a private school, one of the few ways you have of expressing yourself, I guess, of expressing your personality by items of clothing related things is your backpack. So I was like, I don't know, it got me thinking. It's like on the one hand, it's pink, right? So it's like expressing something outside of like the uniform, right? I guess the default would be like some kind of black bag or something like that. But also the fact that it's like an Eastpak bag is also in a way kind of like fitting some kind of mold, right? So I would be like, maybe it's like the more deliberate you can be about that decision, maybe that has returns in some way, right? It's like maybe that's worth it. Maybe it's worth it to think very deliberately about what kind of bag you wear. Even though maybe it isn't, maybe it is, right? It's like color, brand, maybe not just that, and also like functionality. I was in my mind still at one of the things I said to the group that we ended up using. I was making fun, like, wenn das hier professionell wäre, müssten wir auch Blocksats benutzen. And the others were like, yeah, you're right, we should. But I didn't know you would understand blocksats. So I googled for translation. It's really just full justification or justified print. Yeah, justified print, I guess, right? I understand that. It's like when the text, instead of looking like this, right, everything extends to the bottom, right? It's like it looks like all that. It feels like the screen, basically. In Spanish, it's called justificado as well. I'm not sure why, right? But it's called like that. Yeah, so that was the backpack thing. Maybe I could make that video in German, right? That doesn't seem too difficult. For example, the video about the sword, that one does seem more difficult, but the one about the backpack, that seems accessible, I guess, right? Well, in German it's blocksatz since it looks like one block of sentences, I guess. In my mind, that makes a bit more sense. Yeah, I think it does, to be honest. I wouldn't even know what to say. Like, I wouldn't even know why it's called justified or justificado. To arrange text on a page on a computer screen such that the left and right ends of all lines within paragraphs are aligned. Ausrichten. Justieren. Doesn't mention block text here. But to others it is not. What? The justify thing. Okay. Next topic that I had for today. The fear of making things worse. I don't know. I thought of this as a topic of like some people have it and some people don't have it, right? And I was like, those have like positive, negative aspects, right? There are aspects on these things, right? It's like some people have like, I think, for example, it's bad that you have this fear when you want to start a company, right? I think, but also, I don't know. It depends. But I think entrepreneurship or a way, right? It's like, in a sense, it's kind of like imposing your will on the world, right? When you make a company, it's like your fear of making things worse is small, right? It's like you have put money on the line, and you put hours on the line because you believe that what you are making, right, is probably making things better. At least for yourself, I guess, for personal gain. But I would believe that also for the world, right? For most people that are like not sociopathic or whatever, right? If you aren't a sociopath or something like this, it's like you probably do care about at least like the well-being of others related to you, at least, right? So I guess those people, it's not that most people are sociopathic, right? It's more likely that most people who have like companies, etc., have this lower fear of making things worse. It's like they have more confidence that they are making things better than making things worse, right? And I also was thinking about it in the personal relationships sense, right? I guess the same goes for like personal relationships, right? It's like, in a way, for example, when you send a meme to your friend or something like that, it's like you are kind of making the internal calculation, right? It's like every gesture, right? Every move is there must be some internal calculation somewhere that makes it so that the likelihood of that being better, like making things better in a way, is higher than it making things worse, right? It's like when you share a meme with your friend, it's like you are more sure that it's going to be positive, right? That they are going to either laugh or like not care that much, but that it's not going to make things worse, right? And I was thinking about it, I guess, in the sense of like, I don't know, a less regular situation and more like someone is sad, blah, 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 and you are trying to like reach out and say, hey, how's it going, right? It's like sometimes that can be worse. It's like maybe sometimes you try to help, but that makes things worse. And I don't know. I was thinking about it in that context, right? Coscoro, Cuadro, how's it going? You always come right at the end. I'm going to end in like 10 minutes or something like this, but but still, it's 10 minutes. From 4 to 10, from 4 to 15 minutes, I estimate. How are you doing, Cuadro? How's life? How hot is Pakistan right now? I always check. Lahore. Temperature. 17 degrees. Okay. Freezing. February must be like a nice month to visit, right? Maybe not because of the like, I guess when it's sunny, the air quality goes like piss poor, I guess, right? When it's rainy and as such, the air quality goes a little bit up, right? The wind and the rain, etc., those move air a bit and the pollution doesn't stay as much. And I guess when it's sunny, it gets worse, maybe. I don't know. That's how I understand it. But temperature wise, it feels like a nice point in time to visit, right? It's sunny, like the temperature is comfy. At night it's a little bit cold maybe, but like there's maybe like temperature difference, but I guess that's to be expected in like a place where it's like kind of far away from the sea, right? I haven't checked North Vietnam either. Let's see. Hanoi weather. Okay, cold-ish. Similar to Lahore, I guess, in the temperature ranges, but a little bit colder because of the sea, I would say. And I guess where you are, it's a little bit colder, right? It must be a bit inner. In Berlin, it's currently 6 degrees, but it feels very cold at the moment. Yeah, here today it's pretty cold as well. It's like also 4 degrees or something like that. This week was kind of warm, but yesterday it rained, so it got colder. Also similarly like a 10-degree difference, right? Anyway, I think yeah, that's what I was talking about. That was like an idea I could make a video about, maybe, but I don't know. I'm not sure what else I would have to say, right? I guess the fear of making things worse. Some people have it, some people don't. For companies, it's good that people don't have it. And I guess like my take was going to be something like, for companies, it's good that people don't have that fear, right? But I guess maybe in personal relationships that fear exists for a reason, right? When you are like afraid something could hurt, but also maybe not, right? It's like maybe in relationships people are also like too cautious, right? People are like, what if this would cause harm? But people don't think, what if this could cause good or something like that, right? That was kind of what I was, I guess, thinking about, right? I was thinking of my own fear of making things worse, I would say, right? I think I have more of a fear of making things worse than an expectation of making things better or something like that, right? I guess the exception is YouTube, right? YouTube for me is like neutral. In this case, it's like I don't think I'm making things neither better or worse. I think it's pretty neutral. Everything is pretty neutral here, right? It's like being in a sea surrounded by noise. That's kind of the outcome, right? It's like everything gets like aplanado. Everything gets like flattened. Everything that is not Mr. Beast, right? Everything that doesn't have a fucking huge amount of views gets flattened into the same thing, right? Everything that doesn't stand out a little bit from everything, it's like nothing, right? So I think I am in the nothing category in YouTube. So it doesn't matter for me to keep uploading, right? It's like it's not going to make things worse. I don't have that fear, right? And also I don't think it's making things better either, right? But I don't know, I think the likelihood of this making things better is higher than making things worse, for example, on YouTube. But on companies or like personal relationships, it's like if I were to make a company, right? I've never started a company because I don't think I have this ability to make things better, right? I don't like to deploy resources to this cause that I definitely know will make things better for me or others. And in personal relationships, I'm not like even though I upload videos all the time, I'm not like sending messages to everyone all the time, right? Because for personal relationships, I think it's different, right? I think there is like more likelihood of doing harm in this sense, right? I don't know. I feel like that's how I feel. Not that it's real or not, but I feel like that's how I feel. I still don't really know what you think you make worse, or might make worse, or are going to make worse. Interesting. I don't know. Has someone like ever sent you some kind of message or whatever, and you're like, bruh. It's like, why, right? I don't know. Haven't you had that kind of feeling, right? Something like not necessarily it doesn't necessarily have to be like super bad. Just something that I would have preferred not to have received this, right? This kind of feeling, right? Maybe it's a me thing, right? Maybe it's something that I have felt, right? Sometimes I feel like, why am I getting bothered by this nonsense, for example, right? It's like that sense of like, why am I getting bombarded with this kind of nonsense? Why is this nonsense arriving to me? I would rather not have to deal with this, right? That is making my life worse, right? So it's like I don't want to be the one sending the nonsense to other people, right? That's kind of the relationship, I would say, right? Every time I finish a conversation on WhatsApp and the other one sends back an okay. Like, I'm not sure if I'm explaining myself correctly. I'm usually okay. At least I now understand what you mean. Yeah, something like this, right? I think I have explained it now better. I'm usually the one sending the message. Lol. The message that other people are like, ugh, right? I don't know. That was kind of what I was thinking about. This was kind of the topic that I was thinking about. I'm not sure if it's worth like its own full length video. I'm not sure if I can send it in German. Say make the video in German either. Feel the cringe. Embrace the unexpected. The OC thing annoys me. Like we finish the combo and I put my phone back, but then it takes just to see the OC is annoying. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I was thinking more. Yeah, like a less surface level annoyance, right? And more like a deeper level annoyance, right? Something like like when someone like for example in that same vein, for example, I hate the fact that someone thumbs up reacting to your message, to your WhatsApp message. It makes my thing vibrate, or like it also that like it makes a notification happen. It shouldn't. It's like no, it's like I don't need to know that someone thumbs up reacted to something I sent. I don't need to know that, right? It's okay that I know if I check actively, but if I don't check actively, you don't need to tell me that. Yeah, but I get the feeling. Yes, it's like same with someone sending you okay, right? It's like the same thing, right? Just a vibration that's unnecessary. But I meant it more in in like I don't know, someone sending you a text like a piece of information that you don't give a fuck about, something like this, right? So for example, some kind of friend of mine or whatever, they send me a YouTube link of a video that they themselves have not even watched or something like that, right? And it's like, why the fuck do you send me a video that you don't watch yourself, right? At least watch it yourself before sending it to me, right? Those kind of things, for example, right? But I also didn't exactly mean it like, and the thing that made me think about this topic in general was like something, I guess, a bit darker, or you could say, right? It's like, maybe you send something, it's like maybe by trying to help, right? By sending someone a message of like, hey, how are you doing, right? I don't know, imagine someone is like very sad and you ask them, hey, how are you doing? And then they tell you that they are bad, right? And you are out of words, right? And you don't know what to say. And you are like, okay, it's like, and you can't say anything back and you forget or something like that, right? It's like, then maybe that's worse as not having asked, hey, how are you doing in the first place, right? I think that was kind of what sparked this video idea, right? That kind of was the thing. And yeah, lastly, I had this Ich liebe dich anecdote, short anecdote. I may tell it tomorrow, so I can have at least one idea to talk about tomorrow, because I think I've I guess, speed run these ideas in like 30 minutes. So, yeah. So just so I have an idea for tomorrow, I will leave you with the cliffhanger. And yeah. Maybe you are intrigued by seeing here the name Hitler and then here I liebe dich or something like this. No, I don't love Hitler. But yeah. I will leave the suspense for tomorrow. What did I learn in Munich last week? Okay. Lol, okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I'm ending stream now. And yeah. Wish me 100% for tomorrow. No, for next week. As in, I'm kind of congested nasally. I'm kind of a little bit sick, but I am on the trend upward, I think. So, yeah. Wish me health, and I wish you health back. And yeah, good. Thank you for being here, and until, if you're here until tomorrow, well, and if you're not, then until the next time. Goodbye. Wishes you thank you for the or is it some kind of like emoticon of someone making something like this?